2016 in review. What a year. Yeah, this video I pretty much wanted to sum up what has happened in 2016. You know, this was a big year for Call of Duty. We had the CWL. ANZ competed for like 300,000 plus in competitions of online to LAN events to COD champs, which was something we had never ever seen before in this region or globally for Call of Duty. And it was great, you know. I loved competing again, and yeah, it was just overall a great year. But I wanted to go through like a step-by-step basis of an inside view for what happened for me that a lot of people may not know, and it also sort of shows what you can expect if you're in a top team. Like if you're an amateur or whatnot, or even like maybe a pro but haven't experienced some of these things that I'm about to say, then like it just goes to show the things that can happen in Call of Duty or in esports in general. I mean, I don't know what it's like in other esports, but you know, yeah. So pretty much I want to start off by talking about the first step. Pretty much I came into Black Ops 3 after taking a break from AW for 6 months or whatnot. I really didn't like AW, and you know, I didn't perform really well during it, and I wanted to have a fresh start coming into Black Ops 3. Now, when I say a fresh start, that wasn't just a fresh start in new teams or new playstyle or whatnot. It was everything. The main thing for me was really changing my attitude and stuff like that. I was a massive dick because I was very open and a loudmouth into how I would say things, would go about things in the past. I mean, some of that still showed in Black Ops 3, but I tried to tone it down a lot. I didn't really want to focus on so much drama again, and more so focus on just improving myself and my team, and I think that helped a lot. But yeah, I started off going into the new game. I grinded the shit out of that. I played 12 hours plus a day, every day for 2 to 3 months straight. I was a free agent at the start, and pretty much every team other than MF were looking to form something. The first option I had was between well, the main option I was aiming for was myself, Iskatu, Zeus, and Buckebeck. Those three were looking for one, and I always really wanted to team with Issei. You know, after what he had done in previous years, I just thought that like that would be a great mentor to push me in the right direction to progress my career. So I was trialing for that team a lot. You know, when I was trialing, we were doing really well. I felt like I was performing really well, but it was getting, you know, they were trialing other options as well, which was fair enough. But it was getting to the point where they weren't able to give me a proper decision. So I went looking elsewhere. T1, which was Fate, Damage, and Chilean, they were looking for one also, and they were going through trial processes, and you know, we're scrimming them a lot. And it was obvious to me that no matter who they were trialing, it wasn't that the players were bad, but it just wasn't a right fit for that team. So I was like, I might as well, you know, ask. So I DM'd Fate and said, I'm interested in joining. He's like, yeah, let's go. We scrimmed, and it was perfect, to be honest. Like, I just fell in love with the team instantly. And after the first night, they pretty much said, I asked them all, and they said, the offer is there. That same night, Issei and Zeus had come to me and said, the offer is there for you also. So I was torn between sort of deciding the person I wanted to team with for like 2 years, or this other team that just I felt was perfect. It was a really hard decision, you know. I asked for advice from a lot of people, from family to Kim to other top players in the region, and yeah, I had decided to go with the T1 squad, which I felt was the best, and still to this day the best decision. My future was definitely a lot safer in that team than it would have been in the other team. So that led us going into the CWL. You know, they had announced these LAN events and all sorts of stuff, which was really exciting. We were grinding. There was a LAN qualifier that we had received an invite to. We had ourselves, Sway Gaming, Team Immunity, and Envy in our pool. You had to place like top 2 to get invited to the league. And leading up to the event, we were getting absolutely smashed by Immunity. Yeah, I think we were like 20, like we counted the maps, like we'd lose all the time to them. And it wasn't looking too good for us, like we had a lot of stuff to fix and not a lot of time. So going into the event, we were skeptical, sort of thinking, well, you know, we'll probably qualify, but maybe through second place. But that event was by far the craziest, and it being like the first massive event, I mean, we had our own player rooms and a stage with proper lighting, like we had never had that before. Well, obviously the other players did because they had been to champs, but I mean, for me, I didn't. And yeah, that was awesome. We went up against Envy first, and they surprised me a lot. They played really well. But the main game was against Immunity, and that was like the qualifying match to place pretty much first in your pool and yeah, qualify for the CWL. And we came out really hot. That match was insane, and we ended up taking them out 3-1, which was really unexpected. And yeah, that was the start of something great for the time being. Yeah, Immunity grew further as a team as well. They played well that event, but this led into us going into stage 1. Stage 1 was like, it was fun playing league matches every week. I must say, I miss that so much. Getting on every Tuesday and Wednesday night. I mean, there's so much stress in those matches, but it's so much fun. Scrimming and playing those matches have a different feeling. Like, I'm sure if you compete, you know that. But yeah, our first game was against X5, and they were the last placing team in stage 1, so like it was a good first match to warm into things. We ended up taking them out and pretty much cruising through stage 1 without any major issues. I think we lost to like MF once, Immunity once, and Chiefs both times. Like Chiefs had our number. Don't know what it was that they did. But yeah, I mean, we only lost to MF once, and one of the times we beat MF was right towards the end of the season, and that was a big confidence booster for us because as stage 1 went on, like we started off quite high, but we kind of dipped. The team had like a major downfall. So for us to win against MF right towards the end, going into stage 1 finals, that was like a big confidence booster for us. But like looking back at it now, I feel like that game was probably more so just MF making mistakes. I mean, I can't speak for how they felt what went down, but just, yeah, that wasn't the same MF that we played at stage 1 finals. Which leads me into stage 1 finals. Our first match was up against Orbit. Orbit at the time was Azzy, Ging, Kitty, and Swiftazor. Yeah. We had a lot of technical issues in the first map, which it ruined the series for me, in my opinion. We ended up losing the first map because of it. Like, we had to restart the map. But the other maps were like, I can't remember the scores, but you know, we took them out 4-1 going into MF, and I had never played MF on LAN before this point, and I was really looking forward to it. But fuck, everyone got smashed. MF were just on another level. You know, that definitely wasn't, like I said, that wasn't the same MF that we played in stage 1, like during the regular season. They came out really hot. They played everything so smart, like they always do. And yeah, we went down 4-0. It was a pretty depressing time, to be honest. Like, obviously no one likes losing, and some people took it harder than others. But I mean, I think from here on out, this was like a major downfall of the team. We had a few weeks break before Crown Invitational. Crown Invitational was like another huge event. We had Millennium from Europe and Optic from obviously America come over, and we just really wanted to play those teams and continue to just play the best that we could. But the other teams in the region definitely caught up to us. The wins were they were tough as hell, and you know, the competition was good. Going into Crown, our first match, I don't even think we played anyone before Chiefs. I think Chiefs was our first match. We had to play it on a side station, which was like so gay, because it was such a good match. But we played them on a side station, and the winner of this match got to verse Optic. I mean, it's a dream for a lot of people to play Optic. I'm guessing, like, sure, they're a great team, but just to have that experience is, you know, priceless. But yeah, we go up against Chiefs, and it was a full-on map for map, you know, as close as you can get game. It goes all the way down to game 7, which, because we played best of 7 series, game 7, round 10 or 11. I think it actually went down to round 11. And yeah, that was insane. But we ended up taking that out, and then versing Optic, and we got 4-0 by Optic. But you know, we came out hotter against Optic than I expected. But I think, you know, Optic hadn't played for ages. You know, they'd been in Australia for days, so we went neck and neck for pretty much halfway through the hard point, and then from halfway through the hard point to the last flag capture in CTF was just we got rolled. I mean, it was upsetting. Like I said, no one likes losing, but it was an experience, and I felt like us a lot as a team and individuals learned a lot, but that came with a lot of punishment, I feel. We tried to adapt individual players' playstyles to sort of match how Optic played. And how I say that is, for instance, Formal is a really fast-paced player. That's Optic's main AR, and Hayden was our main AR. But Hayden suits a lot slower playstyle than fast, and we had discussed as a team to try and pick it, all of us to try and pick it up. I mean, Billy was by far our fastest player, Chilean. But, you know, so we really put that on Hayden to try and, like, speed up a lot. And I think that did, like, more bad than it did good. Which, you know, we had a week break before another LAN event, which was CGPL. This was by far the worst LAN event that I had played. Not because of, like, just the venue and stuff like that. That was fine, like, it was COD. But everyone was sick. I had a cold, Damage had a cold, we're versing Orbit, 2 of their players were thrown up, they had colds. Everyone was sick. It was a venue of a bowler. And yeah, that was the toughest LAN event that we didn't expect what happened there to ever happen to us. We had our first series, it's single elimination by the way, everything's single elimination. We had our first series against Chiefs, so it was a rematch from Crown, and I think we took out the first map, and then they won the next 4, and that meant that we were no longer top 2 in the region. And yeah, that really surprised us. But we still had a placement match for 3rd place against Orbit. Orbit had changed their roster since like stage 1, and this to the roster they have now. And we just went outside. We're like, okay, we've lost. Like we're out. We can only play a placement. But we took the opportunity of playing on LAN to adjust our playstyle completely. We went outside for about an hour talking about how we were going to change a whole bunch of things going into this Orbit match. I mean, it was from playstyles to people using certain weapons to certain spots that we used. We pretty much did a whole bunch of like months worth of work in an hour. And we went into it our game against Orbit once again won the hard point. We were like, okay, we might be going somewhere here, and then we lose the next 4, which sucked. You know, last place in team at a LAN is never a good feeling.